left out a little bit along the way is we studied ourselves first, and we came out of spring last year not feeling great about how we were tackling. And so trying to do some self-evaluation. Luke and Chris were having conversations about that and searching for ways to improve, and that's where we came along the stuff that we had from the Seahawks and then modified it to fit us and to fit how we do our business and study other people as well. I think it's been extraordinary. It's a game changer for us, I think, and I think it's something that we continue to study and look at ways to get better, ways to drill it better. I do know this: I can't imagine anybody tackles more in the country than we do. 2 days a week we got live tackling in season, and right now every day in spring. And you're going to get better at the things you do the most. It's identified as a critical skill for all of us, and we've worked really hard on it. So I think that we're going to continue to improve.
Anything that's equivalent to that this season that you're looking to take a big step in? Something that you've studied and maybe want to make a point of emphasis this year?
Probably nothing we want to share, but that's a great question. I mean, that's what you do, right? You study and ways to improve and the things, and I think there are things that we're actively looking at. It's a great question.
Next year at this time,
we'll tell you all about it.
Back row right, Clay. Question for Coach? If not,
that's okay, Clay. I'll skip you.
Who's had the best spring in your unit?
Eli. Eli was coming off of an illness last year in the spring and didn't have any idea how he was going to play. I thought he had a very good season, but I think he's had a much better off-season in spring than he's ever had. And his growth physically, but also his growth as a leader and as a player, and he's not finished. And he knows that, and we talk about that all the time. But he has had a really, really good spring. I'm really excited about him.
Be a lockdown player, or is that just
I think he can be very, very good. I would like to say that all of them better be, because that's the coverage we play. So but he's had a really good spring. Real excited about him.
back row left, Steve.
Yeah, Coach, just the other position, it seems like you have 3 guys there. Just how's that gone? Who's lined up and really performed well there at that other quarterback position?
Kerry has had a very good spring. Garyon's put on weight. He's put on strength. He showed up at 168 pounds. He's 190 pounds. He's a very fast player. Skill set continues to improve. I love my room right now. I love my unit. They are really working at the craft. They're studying themselves. They're grading themselves every day. They show up ready to work. And so Garyon has had a great spring. Damon Webb, this is his first spring. Sometimes people forget that stuff with those freshmen. It's a first spring for him. And so it's a lot, and it's hard. And he's playing corner and nickel. He's handling it extremely well. One of the most competitive players on the team. Marshawn is still coming off the injury. And so we're hoping that next week Marshawn is going to do some real full-speed live stuff, which will be a big week for him. So we've been building towards that. Everything's going well, and so we're hoping that he's able to perform next week.
Just the initial returns of how those guys have played, do you feel you could sustain the same kind of coverages that you played
Yes.
last year with Duran and Eli?
Yes, and absolutely. It's the mission, it's the quest, and we will. So they will be good. They will be good.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, how you doing, Kerry?
Great.
Speaking of back to the tackling stuff, are y'all in some ways becoming better tacklers because of the rules? You understand what I'm saying?
Nope.
You're not?
No, I don't know what the rules
Well,
are.
I mean, the new rules where you can't hit guys. I mean, you can't take these big shots at guys. I mean, that you have to be more proficient.
We had a clinic. It's a great question. Now I understand it. It's not really so much the rules as it is the safety of the game, right? So we were in Marvin Lewis spoke to all the coaches at our clinic 2 years ago. And he talked about tackling, and he was talking about the same stuff that the Seahawks are doing. And the delivery, when you're watching it, you're thinking it's like arm tackling, which those of us who grew up in the game, everybody said never arm tackle, that the whole thing about get your head across and all that stuff. Well, as the game has transformed, ain't nobody getting their head across. You better not be using your head. You better not be putting your head down, and all those kinds of things. So yes, the safety of the game is what generate all this. It's why you study rugby players, right? Because they're not wearing helmets. So they're making tackles, but they're keeping their face and their head out of there. And so that is the genesis of where it started. What we've learned is it's pretty darn effective. And by trying to continually enhance that, we think it's made us better tacklers.
And the other thing, I know you don't coach safety straight up, but you get to watch them. I mean,
Yeah.
Von Bell was talking the other day about how he's really working on being much more efficient as a tackler. I mean, how do you work on, I guess, the jump? I mean, not the jump, but, the attack at the moment of truth. What are the drills y'all go through for stuff like that?
Well, we do live tackling, and we do it in a variety of ways. We've got a ton of different drills, but I'm talking about tackle to the ground, which is not something that we did. And we do it individually for the most part. The reason you don't do it collectively, other than scrimmage situations, is because that's where an injury occurs, is when somebody gets leg whipped or something like that. When everybody's going in a scrimmage and everybody's tackling to the ground, it's not bad. It's like a Saturday. But the individual one-on-one tackle to the ground, I can't imagine that anybody does that more than we do in practice.
One other quick thing, you get to watch video all the time. Who of the receivers in your mind is kind of jumping out?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Michael Thomas is a superior player. He is a superior player, and he has had a great spring before the injury. I mean, strong, tough, and a ball catcher. Noah Brown has had a great spring for a young kid. And again, a strong kid who lost a lot of weight. He's quicker, got a good first step burst and quickness. And Jalen Marshall's playing a variety of positions, which I think doesn't do anything but increase his value to the team. He's playing outside, he's playing inside, he can go in the backfield. He's got, the skill set to be able to do all of that. I think our receivers are very, very good, and I think that's what makes our corners better. We got to go against them every day.
Front row middle, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Kerry. Tomorrow you go back to your hometown and are honored.
So my wife was asking me about a tweet that you hit out yesterday, something, complaining about the officials in the Final Four game or something.
Possibly.
I'm just checking with you. Okay, now your question.
Very good. You get to go back to Cincinnati tomorrow.
Yeah.
How exciting is that for you?
Very. I mean, I can still tell you the lineup of the Big Red Machine, right? Pete Rose to Joe Morgan to Ken Griffey to Johnny Bench to Tony Perez and on, right? So, I mean, I grew up a Reds fan. I love the Cincinnati Reds. And for me to be able to go back there and be on the field and be hanging out with in that environment is phenomenal for me. And still my town, and so it's a special day.
Related to that, you're also going to go to the White House in a couple weeks.
How about that?
How do you balance that as a staff, the celebratory aspects of what you guys did, with the idea that you can't be complacent, you've got to move on from that, you've got to get ready for this year? How do you balance that?
I think there's tremendous value in appreciating what you've earned. I think there's tremendous value in that. To me, that's unbelievable motivation for next year. I don't think there's a single kid that sits in this room that says, well, we get to do all that stuff, so this year's not as important. I think it's, we get to do all that stuff, let's go do it again. I'm excited to have the opportunity to go again. So I think the celebration of victory is a great motivator for the future. I discount that whole concept, that celebrating and recognizing that we won somehow hurts us for the future. We're not taking away from anything that we're doing. In fact, I find that our players are working incredibly hard right now because they want to get back. That taste of that is a whole lot better than not, because I've been there too, right? A couple years ago. So I think our guys, I think it's great motivation for our guys. And I think they should enjoy it. They have earned it, and I think they're looking forward to going. And I think they're looking forward to going back.
Do you sense that the complacency issue is not going to be a problem?
Well, I don't know. I don't sense it as an issue now. I think what we do here is we grind, and we grind every day. And so we're in the immediate. And in the immediate, there's not a whole lot of time to say, well, Coach, last year I did. There's not a whole lot of that conversation going on. So for us, we're grinding, and I don't sense that at all. I don't sense guys saying, Coach, I don't want to go today. I got to go get a trophy. I sense guys wanting to be really, really good at what they're doing. Really, I mean that.
Middle, Todd.
Kerry,
Hi, Todd.
how are you?
Great.
Hey,
Thanks for asking.
the development of a player. Gary on last year against Michigan State got thrown in a fire.
He did.
You guys made a quick move
Yes.
early in the game and got him out.
Yep.
To the point now that he's having this great spring, and as far as we know, the starter opposite of Eli. Just how does a player go from that end to where he is now?
Yeah, hard work. And I think to the same point, he's got the memory of that, right? So that we're talking about, celebration is great motivation. So is getting your butt beat, right? And failing and not doing what you thought you could do. What great motivation that is. And so we talk about that in very honest terms in our room. And when he trots out there on Saturday the 18th, he's got to know it's a big boy world. And you're out there on an island and you got to make those plays. And when he trots out there September 7th or whatever that day is, he's got to know they're coming to get you. You know, they saw 13 play. What happened when you went out on the field last year? They came right at you, right? Play 2. Took them 1 play to find them. So he knows that. And we live in a big boy world out there in press quarters at the corner position. So you train and you work. There's a different level of expectation on the part of the player who feels really good that he's going to be the starter. You know, Damon Webb is nipping at his heels and he wants that job. But Garion's walking out of the locker room every morning saying, I'm gonna be that guy, right? So it's a little different level than I'm hoping I'm that guy. I might be that guy. I got a safety net. There's no safety net. You know, we're walking the rope without a net. We got to go play.
You guys get to see the quarterbacks. I mean, you get to see them up
Boy,
close.
You guys love that quarterback thing.
Well,
a lot
I mean,
of fun.
You know, Urban said that, you know, Cardell's still an inexperienced kid who
Yeah.
only started 3 games. How much better is he now than he was at the end of the season in spring here?
Significantly. He's the biggest arm in college football. I mean, the guy is, he threw a field go route Saturday, 35 yards on a rope. And there aren't very many guys that can do that, you know, and it gets there really fast. So if you're in coverage, you better know this guy's got that skill set. He's got the ability to do that. He can do that without a big windup. You know, Cardell's got a great skill set, and at the same time, his growth and maturity in all areas, leadership, check and protections, being in charge out there is significant. And at the same time, the other 2 guys are getting in great work. So, you know, for me, that's the best situation in the world for us. We get to go against great quarterbacks who understand coverage, and if we make a mistake, they're taking advantage of it every day. And that doesn't do anything but make us better.
Couple more. Third row left, Ryan.
Yeah, I know you said
Hi, Ryan.
on signing day that you prefer a cornerback to play the nickel role, generally speaking, but Tyvis and Vaughn said that Cam's been working there a lot this spring.
He has.
Yeah, my question is just, you've got like 5 defensive backs coming in that are true freshmen. Is
Yes.
there a chance that one of them, like Eric Glover-Williams, can win the job, or even push a guy like Damon Webb out to nickel, like, in fall camp?
I don't think there's any question that anybody can win that job. The incoming group we expect to come play. We expect them to come compete and play. Cam Burrows came in as a corner, so it's important to remember that too. The skill set required for the nickel and really the safeties in the system that we're playing right now is specific, and we've got to have a bunch of guys who are able to go out there and play man-to-man coverage. And so Cam is doing a great job this spring. Damon is a backup there as we rotate through in the fall, when everybody's here and everybody's healthy, there'll be a lot of competition, and that's exciting. And there'll be a lot of competition for that spot as well.
Yeah, and last question. All right. Follow up about Damon. He came here as one of the best corners in the country.
Yep.
How's he been able to handle just this learning process, being second right now behind Garion, and is moving him back to working out a nickel kind of a way to maybe see if you can find a way to get him on the field too?
Oh, I expect him to play corner. I think it's a great question. I think it's competition. I think he's a very, very good football player. I think the second spring is easier for a kid than the first spring. And you got, a guy who was sitting in a high school English class last year at this time, going through spring is different than fall. And so he's got a lot. He's sucking from a fire hose because he's playing 2 positions, and we're going and hard and physical. He's playing really well. So I have every expectation that he's going to play. He has 16 production points in Saturday scrimmage. He graded out as a champion. He's going to play a lot of ball, whether it's at corner or nickel. He's a football player. Good question.
And last question, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Hey, Kerry. You talked about Marshawn hoping to get him back on the field. What's it been like for him having that injury? I mean, you talk about there's all this competition that's going to be there. How has he sort of handled having to battle through that before he gets a chance to really?
Yeah, I think it stinks. I think when you're an elite athlete, the last thing you want to do is sit on the bench and not do anything. So he's in every meeting. He's engaged in every meeting. He's talking coverage. He's working right now. He's out there working off to the side, doing work with Armani, doing work with the trainers. He gets in, he got in 6 periods today. None of them what you would consider to be full speed kind of burst periods, but he is doing that off to the side. I think he's hungry. I think he's tired of sitting around, and I think those are dangerous guys. I can't wait to see him play. And he's a big, strong corner that's gonna be in my opinion, a dynamic football player. And so we're very excited. You know, I saw enough of him before he had the surgery to know that this guy can play. So I think that the transition in the next 2 weeks is important for him, and then summer's going to be critical. But expect him to play.
And when you have 2 safeties like Tyvis and Vaughn,
Yeah, isn't that fun?
I think to describe them as confident probably is
Yeah.
beyond.
Good.
What is that, as you guys work together as a secondary, work together as a defense, what does that do to have 2 guys in the back end?
Here's what you want as a corner. You want clarity, right? Coach talks about clarity of purpose all the time. So everything that we're doing out there is being driven by something, and somebody's in charge of it. And so in our system, it's the safeties. So if I'm the corner, I want clarity from my safety. I love a guy who looks over there and says this, whatever it is. And he knows, because now I know he knows what he's doing, right? And that communication is invaluable. You get a guy who looks at you and you're not sure, and now that's not fun. And I'm a corner, I'm Eli Apple, and I look over, and whether it's Vaughn or Tyvis, and we're having that communication, man, that's exciting. And that confidence breeds confidence. And I don't think the guys in my room lack it. And so right now, you got a bunch of guys out there that feel like, I think they feel good about playing with each other. But you're absolutely right. The confident safety, the general, the leader, a guy stands out there and directs traffic with clarity. It makes a corner's life wonderful. It makes all our life wonderful. And they're doing a great job with it.
Coach, thank you very much.
Hey, great. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much.